the Great Northwoods to the Rockbound Coast and streaming live in HD worldwide at foxbangor.com. More people choose Good Morning Maine.
Today on Good Morning Maine, Maine House Republicans have proposed a bill that would abolish Maine's income tax. Plus, police say they have infiltrated an out-of-state operation that has been working out of northern Penobscot County, an out-of-state drug operation. And we'll get a glimpse of the research being done by Maine's Department of Inland Fisheries and Wildlife as they monitor Maine's dwindling bat populations. Good morning and welcome to Good Morning Maine. Happy Friday. I'm Emma Smith and thank you for tuning in this morning. Let's get a first check of that forecast with meteorologist Evan Biggs.
Hey Emma, happy Friday. Your first weather forecast sponsored by the More True team of Better Homes and Gardens Real Estate. They work throughout the state of Maine, serving both buyers and sellers with a focus on the greater Bangor area. All right, here we go. The winter weather advisory that was in effect for the northern parts of the state has now been dropped. Now it's just a small craft advisory that's posted through this afternoon. That's when things will start to calm down as things start to clear out of here there. Well, otherwise, so the radar is starting to clear out as well, so things are starting to look pretty good to start things out this morning. Some clouds, maybe a little bit of wind out there will be expected today. We will be watching for our next system that's off toward the west. This will start to track off towards the north and east over time. We can see all the precipitation that's developing there this morning, even some thunderstorms there. We'll have our turn for a little bit more precipitation coming up soon. But futurecast for now, we're entering a calming stretch right now as we'll be under a partly cloudy sky today and staying relatively clear later on tonight in the parts of the daytime period. Tomorrow, winds will be out of the northwest at around 15 miles per hour at times. That will start to relax later this afternoon to the evening time frame just a bit, but still just enough where they might extend those small craft advisories, but we'll have to wait and see. But for now, those are up until 2 p.m. later on today. So otherwise, so your forecast for today, upper 40s, partly cloudy and breezy. Northwest wind getting up to about 25 miles per hour. Your hourly forecast for the rest of the morning and afternoon period, mixture of clouds and sun, temperatures in the 40s. Your full 5-day forecast is coming up. Emma?
Thank you, Devin. The defense's work in the Jordan David Bishop trial continued yesterday with testimony from a group of licensed psychologists. Our Matthew Dronczyk has the latest.
Following Wednesday's testimonies, the defense called forensic psychologists Dr. Diane Tennis and Charles Robinson, as well as clinical psychologist Dr. David Lawrence, to take the stand to argue that Bishop was, quote, in a dissociative state of mind, end quote, when the shooting occurred. Dr. Tennis was ordered to perform a series of psychological tests on Bishop after he posted bail in October 2019. In her reports, she was the first to diagnose Bishop with PTSD based on the symptoms he exhibited, specifically sleep disturbance and flashbacks to when he served in the Iraq War. She also found the symptoms were consistent with someone with poor impulse control. Dr. Lawrence then took the stand, agreeing with the findings from Dr. Tennis's report. He also said the trauma Bishop suffered from being choked out and his head hitting the pavement likely triggered him to act the way he did without even realizing what he was doing. Dr. Robinson then shared his observations on Bishop based on the surveillance video and his interactions with Bishop. He claims Bishop hitting his head on the pavement likely triggered his behaviors. Bishop declined to take the stand to be questioned by the prosecution. Closing statements will take place Friday morning, with the decision following jury deliberation. In Bangor, Matthew Dronczyk reporting for ABC7 and Fox 22 News.
Union Street in Bangor was briefly shut down after a vehicle went off the road and into a stream. Assistant Chief Greg Hodge with the Bangor Fire Department says the driver of a Jeep Compass entered the soft shoulder and overcorrected, causing the vehicle to go off the road and into the water.
Luckily, one of our off-duty fire lieutenants just happened to be passing by, stopped and jumped in the water, assisted the gentleman out.
We are told the driver was not injured in the crash. Police say they have interrupted an out-of-state drug operation in northern Penobscot County. 2 people were arrested Wednesday after drug agents and police searched a home at 3040 Lee Road in Lee. Maine Drug Enforcement Agency Commander Peter Arno says they seized half a pound of fentanyl with a street value of $37,000, along with $20,000 in suspected drug proceeds. They also found several guns. 36-year-old Pedro Manuel Sanchez Lugo from the Dominican Republic and 27-year-old Tom Severance from Lee were arrested and charged with aggravated drug trafficking. Arno says the search was part of a months-long investigation. The Maine Attorney General's office is warning the public about an active online scam involving the fraudulent sale of used or antique motor vehicles. They say the scammers are using the names of Maine businesses and individuals associated with those businesses to advertise vehicles for sale. According to the AG's office, scammers get unwitting buyers to wire thousands of dollars for vehicles they will never receive. The scammers are registering fraudulent website domains using the names of the Maine businesses and are using emails associated with those domains. Although they do not appear to be physically based in Maine, the scammers are using phone numbers with 207 area codes. They're also using documents that appear to be legitimate, including bills of sale. If a consumer expresses concerns, they may offer excuses or tracking information, but they eventually will end communications and the vehicle will never arrive. If you believe you may have been a victim of this scam, you're encouraged to submit a complaint to the Maine Attorney General's office. In other news now, Maine's Chief Justice says the state's backlog of court cases remains 60 to 65% higher than pre-pandemic levels. Chief Justice Valerie Stanfill told lawmakers Thursday that the primary cause stems from the inability to hold jury trials early in the pandemic. She says other causes include a big increase in felony crimes, the opioid epidemic, and mental health disorders. Stanfill used her State of the Judiciary address to a joint session of the Maine legislature to promote the governor's budget proposal. It includes 4 new judges as well as more clerks and marshals. She also wants a pay raise for judges. All right, moving on now. Maine House Republicans have proposed a bill that would abolish Maine's income tax. Devin Dagnall met with the representative who proposed the bill.
An income tax discourages work, it discourages labor. It's different than all other taxes in that regard.
Thursday afternoon, Representative David Boyer of Poland proposed LD 835 to the Committee on Taxation. If approved, the bill would transition the state of Maine from charging income tax over the next 5 years, starting in 2024. Each year, the state's income tax would incrementally decrease to allow each state department to adjust its annual budgets accordingly.
I figured 20% every year gives each state department time and leniency to make those cuts. Find wasteful spending. You're telling me that there's no wasteful spending in government? I have a hard time believing that.
The bill is not without its opposition. Boyer states that opponents of the bill are worried if approved, it would leave the state with too little funding to complete its full duties.
You know, we're looking at a 20% increase roughly from the last budget. So are our roads getting 20% better? Is our services getting 20% better? No, they're not. So this is a reasonable proposal. Cut some spending and let Mainers keep more of what they earn.
According to Boyer, it is expected that the bill will reach the House floor within the next 4 to 6 weeks. During the committee hearing, Boyer acknowledged that it is unlikely this bill will pass, but he will continue to fight for tax breaks where he can. In Augusta, Devin Dagnall, ABC 7 and Fox 22 News.
A proposed bill would provide a one-time payment that aims to support the Maine Lobster Legal Defense Fund through the end of the decade. House Republican Representative Billy Bob Falkingham has proposed LD 710 to the Committee on Marine Resources. If the bill is passed, it would allocate $500,000 to the Maine Lobster Legal Defense Fund.
But the bill I'm proposing today is going to be funded in the same way that it was last time, with fees from lobster fishermen's licenses. So this bill will actually be funded by the lobstermen themselves and not use any state tax dollars.
The bill has received bipartisan support, and he hopes the support will help pass it quickly. Falkingham anticipates the bill will go to committee in April and the House soon after. Maine Recovery Advocacy Project released its legislative priorities for the year during a webinar yesterday evening. The group is a network of advocates, elected officials, and organizations working together towards funding solutions to lower substance use and overdose rates. Maine saw a nearly 12% increase in overdose deaths in 2022, which they hope to address through legislation in 2023. During the meeting, Democratic Representative Lori Osher announced she's introducing new legislation to establish harm reduction centers throughout the state.
The bill directs the Department of Health and Human Services to create a 2-year pilot project establishing and operating a harm reduction health center to provide counseling and health service referrals and a place to use previously obtained controlled substances for clients of the center.
And so this bill really is about expanding healthcare and expanding access to healthcare to individuals who oftentimes do not have the easiest way of connecting with the services that they need.
To learn more about Maine Recovery Advocacy Project, visit recoveryvoices.com/me. President Biden has approved the state of Maine's request for a major disaster declaration for several counties in the wake of this past December's severe winter storm that battered the state. The president's approval of the disaster declaration for Franklin, Knox, Oxford, Somerset, Waldo, and York counties unlocks federal assistance through the Public Assistance Program. That program provides supplemental grants to state, local, and tribal governments so communities can respond quickly and recover from major disasters or emergencies. The disaster designation also unlocks federal funding so they can develop hazard mitigation plans and rebuild in a way that reduces future disaster losses in their communities. High winds and significant rainfall during the December storm led to substantial flooding, extensive road washouts and closures, as well as widespread power outages and infrastructure damage that are beyond the state's capability to address. All right, the time is now 6:11. Coming up next on Good Morning Maine, a local town has voted to stall their solar projects. We'll hear what their concerns are, but before we go, let's take another look at that forecast. Cloudy and breezy is likely throughout the state today, high of 47 degrees. That breeze is continuing on tonight, low of 23 degrees. Tomorrow, mostly cloudy, high of 44.
Today, my friend, you did it! You did it! You
Good news! A new clinical study showed that Centrum Silver supports cognitive health in older adults. It's one more step towards taking charge of your health. So every day, you can say, Centrum Silver.
Bucksport Regional Health Center has cared for the community for almost 50 years. We are trusted and compassionate providers. We have also given thousands of COVID-19 vaccines because the COVID-19 vaccine is very safe, very effective, and your best shot at protecting yourself from COVID. Trust us. Trust the vaccine. Protect yourself. Take your shot against COVID-19.
She fulfilled his every fantasy. Because she played these games, my son died.
Was dubbed the first internet murder.
And now she wants to come clean to 2020. Is this Cherie?
Yes.
2020, tonight at 9/8 Central on ABC.
All the nonsense
Fibber.
meets no nonsense.
I don't buy it.
Judge Judy.
Weekdays at 5 on ABC7.
This week on Jeopardy, the competition's tough.
It's a smackdown.
Emotions run high.
Okay.
And the surprises keep coming. Plus, hip-hop royalty.
Here's Questlove. This is a hip-hop tradition.
On Jeopardy.
This week at 7:30, only on ABC7.
Senator Susan Collins questioned Transportation Secretary Pete Buttigieg yesterday on why the president's budget doesn't include money for Maine Maritime Academy's shoreline improvements. Maine Maritime Academy will be replacing its national security multi-mission vessel in 2024, and there will need to be some upgrades to the docks and shoreline technology to make way for the new training ship called the State of Maine. Collins says that the inconsistency in funding for the vessels, but not the infrastructure needed to service them, leaves the project short.
The president's budget does not include funding to continue the support for the shoreside infrastructure improvements at our nation-state maritime academies that are necessary for berthing these newly constructed vessels.
But there is, I think, going to have to be a continued conversation about the responsibilities on the vessel itself and then the shoreside resources.
Money has been allocated to build 5 vessels to replace older ships in the Maritime Academy's fleet throughout the U.S. The president's budget for 2024 does include $19.2 million to cover some unanticipated steel cost increases for building one of the proposed training vessels. A House Republican has presented a bill to help combat the ongoing school bus driver shortage. Representative Gary Drinkwater of Milford presented LD 1030 to the Committee on Transportation. The bill aims to make the qualifications needed for a school bus driver's license more specific to the job and not just a commercial driver's license. Drinkwater says he has no interest in cutting safety corners and that all the bill does is cut out unneeded information from the certification for bus drivers.
For example, why does a school bus driver need to know how to secure a load? Why do they need to know how to hang meat? Those are things that CDL requires, but it's not pertinent to a school bus license.
According to Drinkwater, the bill is receiving bipartisan support, and he is hopeful the support will only grow as the bill moves along. Plans to build the world's tallest flagpole in a Down East town are officially on hold. The town of Columbia Falls voted Tuesday to approve a development moratorium, pausing all large-scale developments, including the Flagpole of Freedom project. 63 residents voted in favor of the hold, while 17 voted against it. Town officials say the intention of the hold goes beyond current proposed projects.
It was already highly on our radar. Like, we need to start ramping up our ordinances just to make sure we're protecting the community from serious, harm from developments that may occur. Again, a city building, you kind of have to have a structure for these sorts of things to protect the local community.
The 180-day delay is already in effect. Attorney for the town, Aga Dixon, says that a planning workshop focusing on next steps will begin on May 6th. A Maine town has placed a temporary ban on solar developments after residents shared concerns about moving forward with commercial projects. Our David Ledford spoke with members of the town.
Corinth residents approved a 6-month development moratorium Tuesday. The temporary hold prevents further establishment of commercial solar farms in the town, but will not affect the 3 solar developments that have already been approved. Town manager Stephen Fields says that some community members have shared concerns about the effect additional solar farms could have on the environment, the overall look of the town, and the property value of nearby buildings.
The concern is obviously the amount of acres they're going to take up and the size of the field that the megawatts that are going to be producing on those solar fields as well. So looking at a variety of different aspects to develop policies and procedures in place for those coming into town to abide by.
However, not all town residents feel that solar farms are a drawback to the community.
It'll probably bring some more jobs around, don't it? And maybe save us a little bit of money on our light bill. Yeah, I think it'd be good for it. I think it's good for the towns, but
Fields says the moratorium will give the town time to plan for the future and determine what is best for everyone involved.
Something that goes along with this process is times change, and we kind of have to look for the future to figure out exactly where we want to position the town for protection for our community, but also for the citizens to the best of our ability.
In Corinth, David Ledford, ABC 7 and Fox 22 News.
All right, the time is now 6:18. After the break, shelters and housing resources across Maine have been granted millions of dollars in funding. We'll hear how the money is proposed to be used. We'll be right back with the details.
You've probably seen those ads on TV with the out-of-state 800 number that look like information from Medicare. Some even suggest that your zip code will get you more benefits or even money back. You guessed it, those ads are misleading. So don't call that out-of-state 800 number when your help is right here at home. Do what I did and call the Senior Planning Center. They have trusted professionals all over Maine.
Call the Senior Planning Center at 223-6565. That's 223-6565.
Saliba's Rug Cleaners in Bangor is the best and only spot you should go to for your rug cleanings. Serving Maine for more than 70 years, we care about your rugs. Clean rugs last longer, and our family takes pride in being the professionals that you can trust. Our cleaning process consists of soaking your rug in a bath, shampooing, rinsing, and drying in a humidity-controlled dry room, making sure no detail is overlooked. Need a repair? We fully service every type of rug for you. Saliba's Rug Cleaners.
We care about your rugs.
Sharing a little joy starts with arriving in good spirits. The energizing Mazda CX-5, beautifully designed signature interior. The confidence of available iActive all-wheel drive. Find your new Mazda today at Varney Mazda, 260 Hogan Road in Bangor, and discover what Varney value is all about.
Over $16 million has been awarded for shelters and housing resources in Maine. Maine Housing is giving that money to 17 different projects all across the state. 4 of the grants awarded yesterday will support projects in Portland. The largest amount is going to the Center for Regional Prosperity, which is the fundraising arm of the Greater Portland Council of Governments. According to Maine Housing, the group proposed a new 280-bed shelter in Portland. At the opening of another new shelter on Wednesday, officials acknowledged there will still be a lot more people in need of services. As for the grants announced yesterday, the projects will help support a mix of housing, shelters, warming centers, and support services. And it's not just Portland that's getting help. The project's getting a variety of grants span all the way from Sanford to Presque Isle, Lewiston to Washington County.
Our service center areas, our big cities, are oftentimes overrun by the homeless situation, and we need other communities to be able to step up and do what they can do. And so we're seeing some of that here.
This money comes from Governor Mills' Winter Emergency Relief Plan. All of these properties and projects have to be functional and up and running by next fall. We've all seen costs go up at the grocery stores, and it's also affecting school meal budgets. One school nutritionist says school systems across the country are having difficulty with rising prices. Johnny Maffey sat down with food directors to find out how they're adjusting.
We've been, on average, seeing about a 20% increase in food cost.
Walk-in freezer?
Portland Schools interim food director Dawn Hilton says cafeteria workers are trying to stay efficient. Over in RSU 14,
food is costing anywhere from 30 to 300% more.
School nutrition director Jeannie Riley says egg prices tripled and other staples like milk costs increasing are forcing them to adjust.
We've really needed to start purchasing from multiple vendors.
Sometimes they get a warning.
When vendors are aware that there may be an upcoming price increase, they will try to let us know ahead of time.
There has been federal help in the form of USDA meal reimbursements. 15 cents per meal for breakfast and 40 cents for lunch. This covers around $300,000 of Portland's anticipated $330,000 meal expense increase for 2023. But these funds are set to expire in June. Riley just went to Washington to try to extend it.
One of the reasons we were in Washington was to ask our senators and our representatives to support keeping that funding.
If we didn't have this additional help, I don't know how we would cover those expenses.
Because without the funding, you can't keep up with inflation. You can't keep up with the high costs.
Right. Making the funding consistent with the inflationary costs of food is critically important.
What was it like working with so many people from across the country to try to solve this problem that you said over 95% of people are facing?
It's really powerful.
There are currently proposals to extend the funding, but nothing is set in stone.
All right, the time is now 6:23. Let's get a full look at that forecast with our favorite meteorologist, Devin Biggs.
Alrighty, Emma, thank you very much. Your full weather forecast sponsored by the More True team of Better Homes and Gardens Real Estate. They work throughout the state of Maine, serving both buyers and sellers with a focus on the greater Bangor area. Alrighty, here we go. Small craft advisories are posted through at least 2 o'clock later this afternoon. What I'm going to do is move this map around to see if they're in effect for any other times. And it looks like most of them were up until at least 2 p.m. later this afternoon. I wouldn't be surprised if they extended it because some of the gusty winds will last beyond that. But for now, you can tell where it's a little active right now. 2 to 4 foot wave heights according to the buoys. A little active on land as well. We'll keep that going for most of today. With the wind now will start to calm down a little bit later on tonight and tomorrow. But otherwise, though, here we are. So we're watching some precipitation is clearing out of here now. We'll be under a partly cloudy sky for us today. So overall, looking pretty good. A mixture of clouds and sunshine will be the general idea. We're watching an area of low pressure here that's going to be tracking to the north and east. That'll give us some opportunities for more precipitation moving forward later on as we head into the weekend as well. So futurecast moving forward, a partly cloudy sky will be the general idea for us today. And keeping most of the clouds out of here later on tonight as well. But later on to the weekend, we'll have to watch for increasing clouds, and we'll start to notice that as we head towards your Saturday. By Saturday night, that's when the precipitation starts to move in, and that's when we'll watch for mainly snow with this, just mainly snow at this point. But by early Saturday or early Sunday morning, I should say, we might see a little switch over to a little bit of rain, especially farther down to the south, where the temperatures will be just a little bit warmer. But then we'll start to see this taper off a bit as we head towards early Monday morning. Mainly just a little bit of snow in the northern ends of the state, but further down to the south, holding on to some clouds overall. So otherwise, though, our average high is 43 degrees to talk temperatures. We'll be in the middle to upper 40s the next couple of days, today and tomorrow. Upper 30s Sunday, back in the 40s again Monday all the way through Thursday, so not too far off from average for this time of the year. The forecast for today, upper 40s, partly cloudy and breezy with that northwest wind gusting up to around 25 miles per hour. By tonight, 23 degrees, partly cloudy and breezy, northwest wind getting up to about 20 miles per hour. For tomorrow, mid-40s, mostly cloudy, the winds start to relax with the east wind getting up to about 5 miles per hour. Alrighty, here's a look at your extended forecast sponsored by the More True team of Better Homes and Gardens Real Estate. Rain and snow chances back in the forecast for your Sunday with highs in the upper 30s. Mid-40s return on Monday with a partly cloudy sky, and mostly cloudy on Tuesday. Highs also in the mid-40s.
Oh boy, she got another Wi-Fi device. Our network can't handle that.
What? It can't?
The router's gonna blow.
And what does that mean? We're all gonna die.
We're all gonna die?
Not all Wi-Fi can be Spectrum Wi-Fi.
What's going on in there?
Spectrum Advanced Wi-Fi can handle up to 200 devices.
Goodbye, sweet world.
Get Wi-Fi you can rely on. Get Spectrum One.
Every year, tens of thousands of older Mainers are abused or taken advantage of, usually by a trusted family member. Don't sign away your home. Even if promised you can still live there, don't hand over your checkbook or credit card. Don't sign legal papers like a loan document or power of attorney without talking to a lawyer first. Protect yourself, your assets, your independence. Free, confidential legal advice is just a phone call away. Call Legal Services for the Elderly.
Mossy Ledge Spirits is a true hidden gem in Etna. Located just 3 miles off I-95, exit 167, we are home to tastings, tours, cocktails, to-go drinks, bottles, live music, minis, and priceless memories. You're sure to fall in love with our handcrafted, unique, and deliciously clean-tasting spirits and feel right at home in our family-friendly environment. Mossy's Mobile Spirits is offering mobile bar service for weddings and large events. So enjoy some pizza and raise the glass here at Mossy Ledge Spirits.
There's never been a better time to get away with a great deal on the Hyundai you've always wanted. With America's best warranty and up to 3 years complimentary maintenance. It's your journey. Own every mile at the Hyundai Getaway Sales Event. Now's the time to get in and get away. Get 0% APR and $500 bonus cash with 0 payments until June on 8 of our most popular models. See your Bangor Hyundai dealer.
You're watching ABC 7 Bangor.
Welcome back to Good Morning Maine. A potentially deadly fungal infection is on the rise. The CDC is warning Americans about the rapidly spreading fungus as more and more healthcare workers are confronting the bug, largely resistant to the drugs typically used to treat it. Fox News senior national correspondent William Lajeunesse has the details.
The CDC sounding an alarm about a potentially deadly fungus rapidly spreading across the country. Candida auris is a form of yeast that easily circulates and can infect wounds, ears, and the bloodstream. It can also live on the skin.
And we're mostly concerned because it's much more resistant to antifungal medications than other species.
The fungus primarily threatens those with weak immune systems or patients with existing illnesses in hospitals and nursing homes.
It likes to seek out patients who are already ill, and it generally spreads within institutions.
The CDC says up to 60% of those infected by the fungus died, though many were already seriously ill. Treatment is challenging, doctors say, because C. auris is drug resistant and doesn't just live in the human body, but on surfaces where it can spread to others.
That's a problem for hospitals because despite everything infection control personnel do in the hospital, trying to disinfect all those surfaces, this candida can persist and can infect another patient.
Cases tripled in the U.S. in the last 3 years and are now in more than half the states.
The COVID-19 pandemic likely contributed to more spread because of all the strain put on public health and healthcare facilities.
While health officials are on high alert, the CDC reports no immediate risk to the general public.
Generally healthy people, we consider low risk for getting C. auris, and there's not really evidence that transmission is happening in the community.
Medical experts say early diagnosis and proper treatment is critical for those at high risk. For everyone else, doctors recommend regular hand washing to prevent the spread.
Police firing tear gas at demonstrators in Paris Thursday as protesters rage on for 9 days against President Emmanuel Macron's decision to raise France's retirement age. Hundreds of protests erupting throughout the country against Macron's pension age reform. The demonstrators striking and disrupting travel at Charles de Gaulle Airport and Paris's train stations. Unionized workers also blocking oil refineries and ports, expressing their outrage over the bill. On Wednesday, Macron doubled down on a policy in a French TV interview, saying it is necessary to keep the country's pension system without going into more debt. Macron used a special constitutional power to push through raising the retirement age from 62 to 64 without Parliament's approval. The bill has not yet formally become law, but Macron says it is expected to go into effect by the end of next year. The Pentagon is asking for a 3% increase to its defense budget. Yesterday, military leaders appealed to Congress for the added funds, but some argue that the historic ask doesn't go far enough. Fox News national security correspondent Jennifer Griffin is at the Pentagon with the latest and why China and Russia were big topics of conversation.
This is a budget aimed squarely at keeping America secure in the world of the 21st century.
In their first appearance on Capitol Hill this year, the U.S. military's top brass, Defense Secretary Lloyd Austin and Joint Chiefs Chair General Mark Milley, made their case for a $26 billion increase in budget, what would make the largest Pentagon budget in history.
This budget prevents war and prepares us to fight it if necessary.
The two defended the overall $842 billion budget proposal, arguing the funds are strategy-driven and enable the Pentagon to implement the president's national security strategy. Part of their ask includes $9.1 billion for the Pacific Deterrence Initiative, up 40% from last year. But in the wake of increased tensions with China, there's mounting pressure to boost U.S. forces in the region, particularly after a Chinese spy balloon flew over the U.S. last month and was later shot down over the Atlantic.
Just putting money toward a problem is not going to be enough. The funds must be spent and invested thoroughly.
Another big-ticket item, $30+ billion for missiles and munitions requested to account for depleted U.S. stockpiles as Russia's war in Ukraine continues.
This fight is not just in Ukraine's interest. It is in the U.S. interest.
Critics argue the increase still doesn't keep up with inflation, but if passed, troops will see a 5% increase in.
When we return, we'll have the community calendar chock full of local events occurring today and tomorrow. We'll be right back.
This is where the newsmakers come first in the morning to be heard.
America's #1 morning show.
How would your mom feel about your relationship with your brother now?
I can't imagine what it feels like to go from $20 billion to $100,000. Yeah. Are you worried about going to jail?
You write that you had low-grade depression. How'd you get out of that?
Wherever the story, ABC's Good Morning America is right there.
I'm glad I got my colonoscopy when I did, right at age 50, because they found a large tumor. I had absolutely no symptoms beforehand.
If you're 50 or older, ask your provider about screening for colon cancer. Today, you have options for colon cancer screening.
I'm celebrating 6 years cancer-free and thankful for every minute of it.
Did you know that it's possible to prevent colorectal cancer with regular screening? Learn more at screenmaine.org.
You're watching ABC 7 Bangor.
Welcome back to Good Morning Maine. Today is Friday, March 24th, 2023. Happy Friday, everyone. And according to the Farmer's Almanac, March 24th is best for things like cutting firewood, painting, buying a home, and getting married. I will be painting part of my kitchen today, so that's good news. I'm not sure how luck factors into that, but hey, I'll take it. And today is National Cocktail Day. Whether it's a mojito, an old-fashioned, a simple gin and tonic, or any sort of non-alcoholic mocktail, this day is designed to celebrate and enjoy the crafted drinks that so many people have come to love. On this day in history, in 1882, German scientist Robert Koch discovered and described the bacteria that causes tuberculosis, thus establishing germ theory. In 1913, the Palace Theater first opened at 1564 Broadway in New York City, and in 1930, the first religious services were telecast in the United States. For birthdays today, we have the iconic and historic magician Harry Houdini, who was born on this day in 1874. He passed away in 1926, I believe, from appendicitis, but I might be wrong. And the famous Clyde Barrow, known for his bank robberies, heists, and love affair with Bonnie Parker, was born on this day in 1909. He was, of course, killed by police in 1934. I love the film adaptation with, what's his name? John Beatty, I think it is. His last name's Beatty, but I love that film. It's a timeless classic. All right, well, moving on now, let's check in with meteorologist Evan Biggs because we're about to have our community calendar, so let's see how the weather factors into this weekend's events.
Hey, Emma, happy Friday. Your first weather forecast sponsored by the more true team of Better Homes and Gardens Real Estate. They work throughout the state of Maine, serving both buyers and sellers with a focus on the greater Bangor area. All right, here we go. The winter weather advisory that was in effect for the northern parts of the state has now been dropped. Now it's just a small craft advisory that's posted through this afternoon. That's when things will start to calm down as things start to clear out of here there. But otherwise, the radar started to clear out as well, so things are starting to look pretty good to start things out this morning. Some clouds, maybe a little bit of wind out there will be expected today. We will be watching for our next system that's off toward the west. This will start to track off towards the north and east over time. We can see all the precipitation that's developing there this morning, even some thunderstorms there. We'll have our turn for a little bit more precipitation coming up soon. But futurecast for now, we're entering a calming stretch right now as we'll be under a partly cloudy sky today and staying relatively clear later on tonight in the parts of the daytime period. Tomorrow, winds will be out of the northwest at around 15 miles per hour at times. That will start to relax later this afternoon to the evening time frame just a bit, but still just enough where they might extend those small craft advisories, but we'll have to wait and see. But for now, those are up until 2 p.m. later on today. So otherwise, your forecast for today, upper 40s, partly cloudy and breezy. Northwest wind getting up to about 25 miles per hour. Your hourly forecast for the rest of the morning and afternoon period, mixture of clouds and sun, temperatures in the 40s. Your full 5-day forecast is coming up. Emma?
Warming up as the day goes on. That's good news. All right, now let's take a look at that community calendar. All right, still to come here this morning, Ryan Sudal will have the latest with sports. We'll be right back.
Autumn of Life Home Care is a great place to work. The team here provided me with all the opportunities and experience necessary to grow within the company, all while working around my busy college schedule. They provided all the necessary licensing and training. It truly was the job that kickstarted my career.
Autumn of Life Home Care in Brewer is a licensed agency with personal support specialists.
Let our compassionate, reliable, considerate caregivers make your life a little easier by providing assistance for you or your loved one.
Autumn of Life Home Care. We focus on you. Apply today.
In Maine, it's always truck season. And at Thornton Brothers in Lincoln, we are celebrating New Ram Truck Month by carrying the complete line of hard-charging new Ram trucks from light to heavy duty. At Thornton Brothers, you'll find the right truck for cargo space and comfort for those long trips on the road. No matter what Maine throws at you, our trucks have you covered. So come on over and test drive any of our award-winning new Ram trucks at Thornton Brothers, 125 Main Street, Lincoln.
Built upon a solid foundation of cast iron and steel, the Kubota LO1 series is rated #1 in durability and owner experience. Powerful Kubota diesel engine, ease of operation, and your choice of a dependable Kubota gear or HST transmission. The durable Kubota LO1 series tractor. Talk to your local Kubota dealer today to schedule a demo.
Available at Doors Equipment, 1468 Outer Hammond Street, Bangor.
Name an animal with the long neck.
Dinosaur, long neck, yeah.
Family Feud.
Weekdays at 9 on ABC 7.
Hey everybody, Ryan Sudal here. Thank you so much for joining us. Maine softball is back from a 2-week-long road trip in California, and they're taking what they learned out west as they gear up for America East play. Tyler Cruz has the story.
We've had a lot of really good experiences on the road. It was a tough schedule, and we knew that going into it. The whole purpose was to prepare.
After 10 games in 14 days in California, Maine softball is back on the East Coast with some confidence and a true sense of who they are.
After coming back from this trip, I feel like after a couple good wins, we really found ourselves and what we decided that we wanted to play like for the upcoming year.
I think we learned that we can compete with anyone. I mean, these girls in California get to play every day outside in the sunshine, and we're inside in a building, and I think it just shows that we can compete with anyone.
One of the big things for the Black Bears this season isn't on the field at all. It's all up here, switching from that underdog mentality to the top dog.
There's really no expectations for the underdog, and so this year, we said, no, we're going to be top dogs, and, top dogs have expectations. They're expected to win every day. They're expected to, do the little things right.
We've always been the underdog school, so we're deciding to kind of revert that and be the top dogs this year, and I think it's been really good for our morale.
And in a week from Friday, the Black Bears will cut the ribbon right here. Their brand new softball facility with the home opener set for Saturday, and there aren't words to describe how much this will do for the program.
We've seen it on paper a lot, and just to finally see it like in real life is awesome, and I think the girls 100% deserve this.
We're working really hard here at UMaine, and to see that pay off in the end is really nice, and it actually attracts more softball players from the South, from the West to come to Maine because now we have the facilities to be at the best.
And with a state-of-the-art facility comes state-of-the-art expectations, but that's not news to them.
And they know that, but I think they are also taking a lot of pride in it, and they want to show people, why they deserve this new field, and the expectation of, having this new field is, winning.
With a new brand new stadium on your back, it helps. I mean, if you look good, you play good. So
in Orono, I'm Tyler Cruz, ABC 7, Fox 22 Sports.
Thank you so much, Tyler. Okay, let's stay on the diamond and move on to Husson, where Eagles baseball is starting to wrap up their non-conference schedule after what has been an up-and-down start to the season. After starting 3-3, they've lost 3 of 4, including getting swept last weekend by Salve Regina. Despite that, of course, the team is grateful for the chance to face the competition to prepare them for NAC play. But they're especially happy because it's a great way for the team's new phases, like local kids Hunter Curtis and Keegan Sear, to gear up for the rest of their college careers.
I think it's just great for our young guys to see the competition that we're going to be playing when we get to a regional setting or into our conference tournament. Just getting those guys used to college baseball, and they're just going to grow.
I've seen a lot of freshmen have that go-get-'em attitude, which I love.
And that's one of the big things, is that a lot of the guys, younger guys, have that go-get-'em attitude.
The whole team will need that attitude Sunday in their doubleheader against Mitchell College, a team that is receiving national votes. It's their toughest test thus far, but as long as they focus on the less exciting aspects of their game, the Eagles feel they can compete.
Big thing we've talked about all the time is just do the little things. When we come to practice, just be really good at the boring, we say, and just take that into a game setting and just go from there.
Every game's a new game. As long as we play our baseball, I fully believe that we can go out and compete, and we can beat them just like any other team.
Okay, now let's move on to something really, really cool in Maine college hockey. The University of New England men's ice hockey team is in Beverly, Massachusetts, getting ready for Friday afternoon's national semifinal game against Adrian College. Here you see the Nor'easters leaving from the Harold Alphon Forum on Thursday morning. The team getting a special escort to the highway, courtesy of the Biddeford Police and Fire Departments. The team is now just 2 wins away from a first ever national championship. And with Endicott College just 90 minutes away from UNE, the Nor'easters are expecting a raucous home crowd despite being on the road.
This year it might even be a little bit more exciting because we're just right down the road. We're at Endicott, an hour and a half from campus here. So, a lot of people who weren't able to make the trip last year to Lake Placid are planning to come to Boston this weekend to watch us play.
It's obviously great being able to play in a building that you've been in before, that you're familiar with. It's great for our families. Obviously, it's a lot easier to travel somewhere that is reoccurring on the schedule.
That's all the time we have for sports. I'm Ryan Sudol. We'll be back right after the break.
There are some things that go better together.
Burger and fries, soup and salad.
Like your workplace benefits and retirement savings. With Voya, considering all your financial choices together can help you make smarter decisions.
Voya, well planned, well invested, well protected.
Looking to haul a new piece of equipment? Homeowners or commercial, Coops Truck and Equipment has the right trailer for you. Coops is the largest dealer of truck flatbeds and hauler bodies in this state and can replace any old rusty bed or outfit, any new truck. Our full-service facility can modify all truck and trailers with steel and aluminum fabricators on duty. We are your go-to place for CM truck bodies, H&H trailers, and load trail trailers. For trailers, truck bodies, truck outfitting, and more, it's Coops.
Bucksport Regional Health Center has cared for the community for almost 50 years. We are trusted and compassionate providers. We have also given thousands of COVID-19 vaccines because the COVID-19 vaccine is very safe, very effective, and your best shot at protecting yourself from COVID. Trust us. Trust the vaccine. Protect yourself. Take your shot against COVID-19.
Scudic & Bloom, a full-service, custom-designed florist, Main Street in Winter Harbor.
We can deliver one-of-a-kind, full-color flower arrangements
by custom floral designer me, Pam.
Delivering to Ellsworth and surrounding areas for any occasion.
Please visit scudicandbloom.com or call 844-SCUDIC.
Welcome back to Good Morning Maine. Well, good news for KFC fans. They're bringing chicken nuggets to their regular menu. The fast food chain's the new item will be seasoned with its signature blend of 11 herbs and spices and comes as a 5, 8, 12, or 36-piece serving. The company says it is the, quote, chicken nugget America deserves. KFC's nuggets will hit menus on Monday. A report says homeowners working on renovation projects are not finishing them. The Wall Street Journal says rising costs and long wait times are causing more home fixer-uppers to back off their projects. Some projects take months to complete and some remain unfinished. Spending on home renovation projects went up 15% in 2022, according to a report by Harvard's Housing Studies Center. Projects that used to take 22 days on average now take 79 days, more than tripled. Hourly wages for workers have gone up from an average of $35 to $49 an hour. Contractors also say they're having trouble finding qualified workers. I know personally, my coffee pot is surrounded by tools right now. It's an ongoing project in the kitchen. Okay, for those who forgot to cancel their unwanted subscriptions, help may be on the way. The FTC is proposing a click-to-cancel rule to enforce a simple canceling system for subscriptions. The agency says sellers should make it as easy easy as possible to cancel a subscription as it is to sign up. An FTC news release states companies often trick consumers into paying for something they don't want, and the new rule will save people time and money. Personally speaking, I had one of these charges come up this week, so I would love this new rule. I'm still trying to figure out how to cancel it. All right, in other news now, some car owners may need to be extra careful where they park. Fox Business Network's David Asman has this story and more coming up on Fox Means Business.
Stocks stabilizing on Thursday. The market's closing higher after Wednesday's sell-off. Optimism is growing that the Fed will stop hiking interest rates soon. Hyundai and Kia are recalling more than 571,000 vehicles and warning drivers to park outside and far away from anything. Now, apparently, a tow hitch could short circuit when wet and cause a fire. Various makes and models from different years are affected. Some more job cuts to tell you about. Walmart announcing plans to lay off hundreds of employees at its e-commerce fulfillment centers all over the country. And the job losses continue in the tech sector as well. The IT company Accenture says it's going to be laying off 19,000 workers worldwide. A lot of house hunters were making their move this winter. The government says sales of new single-family homes rose in February. However, the increase was less than analysts were expecting. The jump came even as the median sale price of a new home went up last month to more than $438,000. That's business. I'm David Asman.
Now here's meteorologist Evan Biggs with our full weather forecast.
Alrighty, Emma, thank you very much. Your full weather forecast sponsored by the More True team of Better Homes and Gardens Real Estate. They work throughout the state of Maine, serving both buyers and sellers with a focus on the greater Bangor area. Alrighty, here we go. Small craft advisories are posted through at least 2 o'clock later this afternoon. What I'm going to do is move this map around to see if they're in effect for any other times. And it looks like most of them were up until at least 2 p.m. later this afternoon. I wouldn't be surprised if they extended it because some of the gusty winds will last beyond that. But for now, you can tell where it's a little active right now. 2 to 4 foot wave heights according to the buoys. A little active on land as well. We'll keep that going for most of today. With the wind now, will start to calm down a little bit later on tonight and tomorrow. But otherwise, though, here we are. So we're watching some precipitation clearing out of here now. We'll be under a partly cloudy sky for us today. So overall, looking pretty good. A mixture of clouds and sunshine will be the general idea. We're watching an area of low pressure here that's going to be tracking to the north and east. That'll give us some opportunities for more precipitation moving forward later on as we head into the weekend as well. So futurecast moving forward, a partly cloudy sky will be the general idea for us today. And keeping most of the clouds out of here later on tonight as well. But later on in the weekend, we'll have to watch for increasing clouds. So we'll start to notice that as we head towards your Saturday. By Saturday night, that's when the precipitation starts to move in. And that's when we'll watch for mainly snow with this, just mainly snow at this point. But by early Saturday or early Sunday morning, I should say, we might see a little switch over to a little bit of rain, especially farther down toward the south, where the temperatures will be just a little bit warmer. But then we'll start to see this taper off a bit as we head towards early Monday morning. Mainly just a little bit of snow in the northern ends of the state, but further down toward the south, holding on to some clouds overall. So otherwise, though, our average high is 43 degrees to talk temperatures. We'll be in the middle to upper 40s the next couple of days, today and tomorrow. Upper 30s Sunday, back in the 40s again Monday all the way through Thursday, so not too far off from average for this time of the year. The forecast for today, upper 40s, partly cloudy and breezy with that northwest wind gusting up to around 25 miles per hour. By tonight, 23 degrees, partly cloudy and breezy, northwest wind getting up to about 20 miles per hour. For tomorrow, mid-40s, mostly cloudy, the winds start to relax with the east wind getting up to about 5 miles per hour. Alrighty, here's a look at your extended forecast sponsored by the More True team of Better Homes and Gardens Real Estate. Rain and snow chances back in the forecast for your Sunday with highs in the upper 30s. Mid-40s return on Monday with a partly cloudy sky, and mostly cloudy on Tuesday. Highs also in the mid-40s.
No matter what type of dog you have or cat you have, Frontline Plus lets you take them everywhere, no matter how you define it. Frontline, the #1 name in flea and tick protection.
What can your John Deere compact tractor do? Attachments for any job. Financing that's as easy as...
like getting a library card.
Affordable.
You're going to get this bigger tractor, and it's going to be less money.
Dependable.
Through the rain, through the snow, I'll work through it all.
Comfortable.
And I haven't any idea how we survive without it.
Experience United. and build a tractor package customized for you.
Take your taste buds on a journey and experience the brand new international menu Tuesday through Thursday only at the Lucerne Inn and Ryan's Pub. Every Tuesday, enjoy their delicious French cuisine. On Wednesdays, enjoy their memorable Italian delicacies. And every Thursday, be ready for a fiesta with their Mexican favorites. A full 5-course dinner for just $29.95 per person. And don't forget about their all-you-can-eat seafood Fridays. The Lucerne Inn. Beautiful dining with a delicious view.
Sharing a little joy starts with arriving in good spirits. The energizing Mazda CX-5. Beautifully designed signature interior. The confidence of available iActive all-wheel drive. Find your new Mazda today at Varney Mazda, 260 Hogan Road in Bangor, and discover what Varney value is all about.
There's no way she'd stick around if she knew the truth. I'm a criminal.
It's just too dangerous.
Let's rock.
Welcome back to Good Morning Maine. Well, the Maine Department of Inland Fisheries and Wildlife has shared photos of their semi-annual research trips into Maine's bat caves. Every 3 winters, the department's biologists don their headlamps, masks, and bright yellow safety suits to squeeze into narrow caves searching for bats. They do this in order to monitor our state's bat populations in order to guide conservation strategies. They explain that 3 of the 8 species of bats found in Maine migrate south to the colder months, but the rest stay here year-round, hibernating any place they see fit, such as attics, old wells, caves, and other places. But these spaces can't protect them from disease. Cave bats are highly susceptible to a fungal pathogen known as white nose syndrome, which has caused a 95% population decline in Maine's bat caves since it was first detected 12 years ago. To learn more about these endangered species, head to mefishandwildlife.com/bats. All right, that's all we have time for today. Have a great day.
You like to keep your beard perfectly groomed, but hate fumbling with all those attachments. And she hates that mess you leave behind. Well, now you can always be perfectly groomed without any attachments or mess. Introducing VacuTrim by Bell & Howell, the revolutionary total body electric shaver that not only trims your hair, but actually vacuums it up at the same time. VacuTrim's unique dial has 20 precise trim length settings built in, so you never have to fumble with attachments ever again. Just dial and trim, groom, shape, and edge without any messy whiskers in the sink. VacuTrim's revolutionary 2-in-1 design lets you dial and trim to any length, completely mess-free. Its ultra-sharp stainless steel blades give you a precision cut, while the built-in vacuum creates powerful suction, capturing all the trimmed hair into the collection chamber. So there's never any hair shavings left behind.
I hated having to fumble with all those attachments. With VacuTrim, you just dial and trim.
And there are no little hairs all over this thing. That's why I love it too.
Snap on the easy-to-use guide to tighten and